Welcome back to another lecture of English. This is 2.3 connecting dots. Connecting the dots. I'll explain to you what is exactly the meaning of connecting the dots. 4 or 5 dots you make and make a line, but then what does join all those dots by connecting them, but what exactly does it mean in real life? First of all, let us introduce you to the writer Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is a co-founder of Apple. Born in 1955, died in 2011, an American businessman, entrepreneur, business magnate, business tycoon. Just like we have Ambani brothers in India, so he was a business tycoon, inventor. He invented computers. He invented Macintosh computer, the first person. He invented fonts, which we are going to study, and industrial designer. He was the chairman, chief executive officer and co-founder of Apple Inc. This is an American company, Apple Inc. He is widely recognized as one of the pioneers, first person to invent, पहला इंसान जिसने इन्वेंट किया of the microcomputer revolution of 1970s and 1980s. His name was very big during that period of 70s and 80s. He was the inventor of this microcomputer revolution. Fine. Now, what exactly is this lesson? This lesson is an extract of a speech. This lesson is an extract of a speech given by Steve Jobs while addressing the students, the graduates of Stanford University. He was giving this speech there. This speech is also available on YouTube. I might send a link to you if possible. Now, during this speech, what does Steve Jobs talks about? Though the name of the chapter is Connecting Dots, but there are three stories in between. In that particular chapter, the first is Connecting Dots, Love and Loss and Death. Let me tell you what is the meaning of connecting dots. There is one small idea. From that you are getting a big idea. From that you are getting a bigger idea. एक छोटी सोच, you are getting a बड़ी सोच, and you are getting a bigger सोच. You are getting a small idea, from that you are getting a bigger idea, from that you are getting much bigger idea. So here the first thing deals with that connecting dots. Steve Jobs speaks about his early days, younger days, how he got a small idea, from that he got a big idea, from that he got a bigger idea, then he was able to create computers. It started from a very small idea, connected to a big idea, and then connected to a bigger idea. That is what is called connecting dots. First we had mobile, which was very big, then mobile got smaller, then mobile got much more smaller, then mobile became smartphones. So there were some connecting ideas were there. From bigger mobiles we got touchscreen mobiles, smartphones. Fine. So here the language might be a bit tough, but if you go very slowly, you try to understand each line, they are very easy. So he is addressing the students of the graduates of Stanford University, and that was in 2005. He died in 2011. So what is telling the students? Today I want to tell you 3 stories from my life. The 3 stories he is speaking. When I give headline, so 3 stories are: first story is regarding connecting dots, second story is about love and the loss that came to him, and third story is the brush with death. Nobody can speak after that, but then something happened in his life where he went very very close to death. वो उसके बारे में he wants to speak about that. Today I want to tell you 3 stories from my life. That is just 3 stories. The first story is about connecting the dots. I dropped out. See, there are 2 things: dropped out and dropped in. Dropped out, dropped in. I go to see a movie, I find that movie a bit bored. I leave the auditorium during the interval. So I am dropping out of the theater. I am dropping out of the theater. I am leaving the theater. Somebody is sick, I am going to see him in an hospital. I am dropping in that particular hospital. That is, I am entering. In short, we can say that leaving, exiting, dropping out and coming somewhere is dropping in, and this is drop out and drop in happens suddenly. You cannot plan ऐसा, ठीक है? So I dropped out of Reed College. He was in college, so he thought he just leave that college. Why? I dropped out of Reed College after first 6 months. 6 months he got bored in that particular Reed College, but then stayed around as a drop-in for another 18 months. He left the college, but then he joined the college as a drop-in whenever is required. Whenever is required. The classes that he found bored, he skipped them. The classes that were interesting, he used to come and take them. Okay? If he would have been enrolled for full time, he would have to take all the classes. So he dropped out. He will come only to take those particular classes where he was finding very very interesting. So I dropped out of Reed College after first 6 months, but then stayed around as a drop-in for another 18 months before I really quit. So he was in this college for about 2 years. 6 months he was there for full time, then he dropped out. Then for another 18 months he dropped in the college temporarily, only to teach those lectures that he found very interesting. Looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me. I explained to you this. I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and begin dropping in the ones that looked interesting. The interesting lectures, he used to drop in. He used to come for those lectures. For boring lectures, for lectures that he was not interested, he used to drop out. There is one question here. What did Steve Jobs do for 2 years after he joined Reed College? So here it is that what he did, he dropped out after 6 months. He dropped in for another 18 months only as a drop-in. He used to attend lectures that were interesting to him and drop out of the lecture that was not interesting to him. Then I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friend's room. Campus might be there might be rooms available. He might be a poor person, so he did not have any room of himself, so he used to sleep in the corridors of his friend's dorm. I slept on the floor in friend's room, or he used to sleep down on the floor. I returned what he did, Coke bottles. I returned Coke bottles for the 5 cent deposits to buy food with. Friends used to buy Coke, they used to throw it away, he used to collect them, and for each bottle he used to get 5 cents. 5 cents is the this is the cents is the currency of America. Okay, so he used to get 5 cents, and by this selling these Coke bottles, he used to buy food for himself. And every Sunday I would walk 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. During the days when college was there, he used to sleep on the floor in his friend's room, sell the Coke bottles for a 5 cent each, buy food with that, and on Sunday when the college was shut, he used to travel for about 7 miles to the Hare Krishna temple to have a good meal food from there. There is another question on your left hand side. What hardship did Jobs face? So this is what is there. The whole thing that you will have to write in your own words. When you cannot write I. You have to write Steve Jobs here. Steve Jobs didn't have a dorm room, so he slept on the floor inside in the friend's room. He returned. Steve Jobs returned Coke bottles for 5 cent deposits to buy food with, and he would walk 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. I loved it. He loved that particular food, and much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and initiation turned out to be priceless later on. And much what I stumbled. I used to live this way. I used to attend lecture in college in Reed College. I used to sleep on the floor. I used to return Coke bottles for some money. I used to travel 7 miles to get a good food. But in between, I was interacting with many people. I was using my sixth sense in situation. In situation, you predict what will happen well in advance. You come to know. You just have a sixth sense that this particular thing is going to happen. You using his curiosity and using his sixth sense, that is initiation. Curiosity and initiation turned out to be priceless later on. Became very important, brought some very important good news in his later life. So Steve Jobs had two qualities. One was curiosity. He was curious of anything. He was trying to question why this so, why that so, why that so. That is curiousness. And second was initiation. That is, he had a sixth sense that this can happen. If I do this can happen in future. If I do that can happen in future. So he had that intuition. So two things, curiosity and intuition, made him make some priceless decision in his life which was beneficial to him. He is giving one example here. Here's one example. Reed College had the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Reed College had the course of calligraphy also. Calligraphy is making up fonts, designer fonts using a special pen, using a special ink, means taking out fonts. That is what calligraphy is there. So Reed College was offering that particular course. Because I had to take a calligraphy class, I learned about serif and sans serif typeface. So I wanted to take calligraphy class. I wanted to learn font making with the pen. They used to make something, see something this type calligraphy is there. So Steve Jobs took those calligraphy class. Why he took those calligraphy class? Because I had to take calligraphy class, I learned about serif and sans serif typeface. Serif with tail. Suppose if you are writing T, you write here this way. You are writing X, you are using tails. You are writing M, you are putting tails here. These are serif fonts. And if you are only writing T, you are writing M. Sans, without. This is with tail. This is without tail. Sans. Serif. Serif fonts are these. Sans serif fonts are these. Okay? So, Reed College offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Because I had to take calligraphy class, I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces. These, you have to make these fonts. You have to design these fonts in computer. About what makes great typography about. Okay, what is typography? The appearance of the printing matter. Once you make this font, that font when you put on keyboard, then that can be taken out as a printout. तो जो दिखता है, how it is looking, how good it is looking, that particular font is looking, that particular word is called typography grade. So there are innumerable types of fonts. When you open your computer, you will have limited fonts, but you search through Google, you will get innumerable types of fonts. Okay, so Steve Jobs had studied about serif and non-serif, sans serif fonts. So he took up calligraphy. He took up calligraphy in that Reed College. See, Reed College, he was not interested in boring lectures. He was interested in only interesting lectures. And suddenly, his sixth sense or his curiosity made him join the calligraphy class, which was available in Reed College. That was an inspiration. 10 years later, after taking this calligraphy class, joining Reed College was the first idea. Joining only for interesting lecture was the second idea. Joining the calligraphy class was the third idea. Joining the dots. 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, after 10 years, designing the Macintosh computer, joining the dots. 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. यहाँ की study, the study of fonts. The third dot made him successful in the fourth dot. Why was third dot study of font? Because he was there in Reed College, which was offering calligraphy classes. Second dot, whereas he was only interested in the lecture that he wanted to attend, he was not interested. He was a drop-in guy. He had dropped out permanently from the college, only drop-in where he was interested. I'll just draw this here. First one. Okay. Then 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. The 10 years back that I had studied about calligraphy, about serif font and sans serif font, that came back to me, that came back in my mind, It all came back to me, and we designed it all into Mac. And we designed that particular font. Serif font and sans serif font were designed. If I had never dropped in on that course in college, if I would not have studied in Reed College, I would have not studied calligraphy in Reed College, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces, multiple fonts. I had designed more fonts because I took calligraphy classes in the Reed College 10 years back, or for that matter, even proportionally spaced fonts. Proportionally spaced fonts, same SAME, same SAME, proportionally spaced fonts, SAME. These are called proportionally spaced fonts. So you give a command in computer how much space you want to keep between fonts. Once the computer accepts the command, then you type it, automatically it will be spaced that much only. Okay? So if I had never dropped in on that course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces, or for that matter even proportionally spaced fonts. Okay? So how the idea were connected? Reed College, drop in and drop out, joining calligraphy classes 10 years later, it helped him to design the best fonts for his Macintosh computer. And since Windows just copied Mac, it's likely no personal computer would have them. Now after that, first was Macintosh computer, then came Windows operating system. So Windows copied this Mac, okay, and then they launched a computer by the name personal computer. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college. When I was in college, I did not plan what I am going to do 10 years ahead. It is what you did few years back. If you recollect it, then only you can look into the future. So while connecting the dots, you have to go back into your life, and then only you can connect dots. I'll explain to you. But it was very clear looking backward 10 years later. After 10 years, when I designed the Macintosh computer, when Windows copied it, when they took out the personal computer, then when I looked back during those last 10 years, it became very clear to me that that particular 10 year back studying of calligraphy helped me after those 10 years. So that was the dot 10 years back. So what was that? Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college. But it was very clear looking backwards 10 years later. I cannot plan 5 years back, 5 years after what I am going to do. Plan is there. But then unless and until you have gained any expertise beforehand, some years back, then only you can be successful in future. So what? You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. Something which you have to do in future, you have to think that what you have done during the past, that expertise, that knowledge, that experience which you have gained in the past will help you in the future. So you have to go and connect the dot in your past to be successful in the future. Somehow those dots which you have left behind in the past will connect you in the dots with the future. You have to trust in something, your gut. You have to have courage. You have to have determination that you will do something in future. You have to have guts, you have to have determination that you are going to do something in future. So you have to have gut. You have to have destiny. It should be there in your destiny, life, karma. If you have done good things, then good things will follow you. So always believe in God, do good things. So God will also have some good plans for you in future, whatever. So you have to trust the dots, that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You will have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach, connecting the dots from the past to future has never let me down, and it had made all the difference in my life. So from poverty, from sleeping in the dorm on the floor, from selling Coke bottles for food, from traveling 7 miles to get a food, joining college, learning calligraphy, learning typos of serif and sans serif, designing a Macintosh computer, and then using that particular 10 years back knowledge of designing fonts helped him to create more types of typography, more types of fonts, and it made him very successful person. Also, he believed in his karma, he believed in his destiny, he believed in his gut, he believed in his life. This all made him successful in his life. This was the first story he said about connecting the dots. Then he starts about his second story, love and loss. Love for his job, love for a girl whom he marries, and what is the loss? Being fired from the same company which he had started. Okay. My second story is about love and loss. I found what I love to do early in life. He got a partner by the name of Steve Wozniak, short form Woz. So these two friends started Apple, a company named Apple, when I was 20. He was 20 years age 20. He started a company by the name Apple along with his friend Steve Wozniak. In 10 years, Apple had grown from just two of us in a garage. They started in a very small place. Not necessarily that garage means they started in a garage where cars are kept. From a small shop into a $2 billion company. 10 years at the age of 30. At the age of 30, this company, the Apple company, grew to a $2 billion company. There is a question. What setback did John suffer when he was 30? So what he suffered? The same company, the Apple, which was formed by him along with his friend Steve Wozniak, he was fired. What is the meaning of fired? Not fired means applying a gun and shooting. He lost the job. He lost the job in Apple, and it was devastating. It was a severe shock for him. It was very distressful for him and very grief for him. He made this computer, they made this Apple company from rags to riches, from the garage to $2 billion company, and he had to lose his job from this particular Apple. But something slowly began to dawn on me. Getting a new idea. What is given here began to become clear. What is the meaning of dawn? What is the opposite of dusk? Dusk means when the sun is setting. What is the meaning of dawn? Dawn means when sun is rising. That particular time is called dawn. Sun is rising. So everywhere there is dark during the night. When sun is rising, the world is getting illuminated and you are able to see properly. So that is an idiom here, that is a phrase here, that somehow something slowly began to dawn on me. Everything was getting clear. I still loved what I did, and I decided to start over. He started a company along with his friend. The company became successful in 10 years. From garage to $2 billion company. Now, with success, there were more responsibility, more burden. But when you start fresh, when you start new, you don't have any responsibility, you don't have burden. You are free to do what you can do. When you are in partnership, you have to take the advice of the partner. But when you are alone, you can do it all alone. So what something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did, and so I decided to start over. I will start my new companies. Forget Apple. So what he did? The heaviness, already I explained to you this particular sentence here. The heaviness of being successful. It was a $2 billion company. So it was a successful company. So there were great responsibility on me. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being bigger again. Okay. The heaviness and lightness, two opposite ideas, are expressed here. So you think what figure of speech is here. So when that $2 billion company was there was high responsibility. So there would have been heaviness on me because I was successful, but was replaced by the lightness. Now I am going to a beginner. I am going to start a fresh company. So it will replace that heaviness, replaced with lightness. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. I was all alone. Nobody was going to boss on me. I would not have to take any advice of anybody. I was free. So I can invent, I can create what I want. So that was the most creative period of my life. That was up till age 30. Then by age 35, in the next 5 years, during the next 5 years, I started a company called Next. This is the company he started. Next, first company. And then he started another company called Pixar. And fell in love with an amazing woman who would become my wife. During this period from 30 to 35, he designed 2 companies. He launched 2 companies. The names of the company were Next and Pixar, and also got the love of his life. He fell in love with a beautiful woman and married her. Pixar is now world's most successful animation studio. Pixar, this company designed by Steve Jobs, is one of the big animation company in the world. Pixar is now the world's most successful animation studio. Now, when this company became successful, Apple bought this company. When this company became successful, Apple bought this company. So what happens? This is his company, Steve Jobs' company. Apple was where Steve Jobs used to work as a director, work as a managing director or something. Pixar was brought by Apple. So again, Steve Jobs entered Apple. After leaving Apple 5 years back, he is entering Apple again. I returned to Apple, and the technology we developed at Next is at the heart of Apple's current renaissance. And Next technology was also adopted by Apple. And Apple also got a new life. Apple also got a rebirth, Apple also got a revival. That is what is called renaissance. Steve Jobs left Apple, so maybe Apple might have gone a bit down. But Steve Jobs designed Pixar, this Pixar and next helped Apple to get a rebirth, to get a revival, to get a renaissance. And Lauren is his wife's name, and I have a wonderful family together. So, at the age of 20, starting from a garage, designing a company, Apple, making it a $2 billion company by the age of 30, getting fired from the company. In the next 5 years, he designs 2 more companies, which are much more better than Apple company. Apple adopts both of them, takes back Steve Jobs into the company. Apple gets a new life, gets a new rebirth. There's a renaissance in Apple, and Steve Jobs and his wife Lauren lived happily, had a wonderful family. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. What happens if you hit somebody with a stone? That particular person will get a shock. That particular person gets a shock. He gets, okay? So that is what is compared here. In life, sometimes you get a shock. There are changes in life. Okay? There are many, today the coronavirus is creating havoc in many lives of people. There are lockdowns, the local trains are not running. So there are people who have lost their jobs. So that is one shocking changes that has been taken place in many of the families. So that is what is there. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith, but you don't have to lose faith. There will be solution found. There will be virus found about corona. There will be new life. Today we are under lockdown, but soon everything will get clear. Maybe you will have a better opportunity than what you had before this corona era. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking, don't settle. The best thing is that what you are doing right now, have passion for that, have love for that. If I am in teaching field, I should love teaching. I should love to teach the children. Then only I am going to be successful about that. I should have passion for that. Okay? I should be crazy about that. So whatever you find prospect in your future, okay, please pursue it. Whatever skills you have, please pursue it. Please love those skills and try to give your day and night to it. You are going to be successful in your life. Okay? So this is his second story about love and loss. Then his third important phase of life, that is, he came very near to death. He did not die, but he came very near to death. He was diagnosed with cancer, pancreatic cancer, and that cancer got cured. My third story is about death. Now, when he is giving this speech, this is 2005. So a year ago, that is 2004, about a year ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. Doctors told me that I have cancer. My doctor advised me to go home and get my affairs in order. Doctor told me to go home and get my affairs in order, means go home and now try to live your final days waiting for death. Please prepare yourself that you are going to die. That is what, in a doctor's terminology, that is which is doctor's code for prepare to die. I lived with that diagnosis all day. Anybody is going to be afraid. I have cancer. Advanced, if people know that they have this particular disease and they are going to die, then that is a very painful part in that particular life. But what he did, doctor, he was diagnosed by cancer in the morning. He lived full particular day in grief, but evening he went for a biopsy. Later that evening he had a biopsy. I had a biopsy. What is biopsy? They take out the tissue of the body where it is affected. They take that tissue to the laboratory separately. Body is taking that tissue out of the body and it is taken to the laboratory for testing. Later that evening I had a biopsy. It turned out to be a very rare form of pancreatic cancer that is curable with surgery. It was a very small form of cancer, pancreatic cancer, that if surgery could be made, that particular part which was infected with cancer, if that is taken out, that can be cured. This particular cancer can be cured. It turned out to be a very rare form of pancreatic cancer that is curable with surgery. I had the surgery, I completed the surgery and I am fine now. This was the closest I have been to facing death, and I hope it's the closest I get for a few more decades. This was some phase where I came very close to death. Doctor told this particular person, you have a cancer, go home and prepare to die. How bad it will feel. So Steve Jobs says that he came very close to death. And in the second line he says, and I don't want to get this close to death for next coming decades. He said decades, plural. So he's speaking, minimum he's speaking about 20 years, not even 10 years. If he's saying decade, then he's speaking about 10 years. But he said decades, so minimum he's speaking about 20 years, 30 years, that he wants to live for that particular period more. Okay. So this was the closest I have been to facing death, and I hope it's the closest I get a few more decades. Having lived through it, having lived through this particular phase of cancer, having lived through it, I can now say this to you: your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. He is addressing the students of Stanford University. He is saying your time is limited. Do what you want to do. Don't do what others are telling you to do. Do what you want to do. Don't take others' advice. That is what he means to say. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma. What is the meaning of dogma? Which is living with the result of others people thinking. You do what you want to do. You do what you think you'll succeed. Don't do what other people are advising you. Don't do what other people are telling you. Don't do what other people are thinking about you. That is what is dogma. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your inner voice. There are two voices. One is your inner voice. I want to do this. One is the other people's voice. You do that. You do that. So mom is saying something. Father is saying something. Uncle is saying something. Friend is saying something. Teachers are saying something. They are saying you do this, you do this, but you want to do something else. So you do what you love. You do what you love, and don't let other people's voices drown into your inner voices. तुम्हारी खुद की आवाज दब नहीं जावे उसमें. जो लोग दूसरा सबको हर कोई दूसरा बोल रहा है, उनकी एडवाइसेस में तुम्हारी खुद की चाहत, तुम्हारी खुद की जो लगन है वो नहीं दब जाना चाहिए. That should not drown. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. Main thing, follow your heart. हिम्मत रखो, have courage, follow your heart and incision. Incision, yes, I can do it. Yes, I will do it. That is, they somehow already know what you truly want to become. Two people know what you want to become. Your heart and your incision know that what you want to become. Finally, he is closing his speech. When I was young, there was an amazing publication called Whole Earth, the Whole Earth Catalog. There was a magazine by the name of Whole Earth Catalog. In the final issue, in that particular World Earth Catalog के final issue में, final magazine में, at the back cover, they put a photograph of an early morning country road. There was a photograph of a morning, rising sun photograph maybe. Beneath it were the words. Beneath it were the words. What were the words? Stay hungry. Stay foolish. Stay hungry means that not that you have to stay hungry. Stay hungry for success. Stay hungry for success. Stay foolish means you don't have. What is meaning of foolishness? People are saying that you do this. You said I am going to do this. People are laughing on you. How are you going to do that? So you don't think that you are foolish, that you are not going to complete it. Okay? Don't be foolish. You tell that yes, what I am thinking, I am going to complete that. So that is one thing. Stay hungry for success and stay foolish by not accepting others' advice. It was their farewell message as they signed off. I have always wished that for myself, and now as you graduate to begin anew, I wish that for you. So, stay hungry and stay foolish. That magazine, when they took out their last issue, they gave this advice: stay hungry, stay foolish. That was the last farewell message of that particular magazine after they closed down that magazine, after they signed off, after they closed down that magazine. I have also wished that for myself. यही चीजें, stay hungry and stay foolish, I also wished it for myself. And now as you graduate, you are beginning anew. You are beginning your life new. I am also telling you this and also telling you this advice. The advice which was given by that particular magazine, that stay hungry and stay foolish. Fine. So here again you have a question. How does John Jobs close his address to the graduate students? So here it is in that particular line. When I was young, there was an amazing publication called the Whole Earth Catalog. In the final issue, on the back cover, they put photograph of an early morning country road. You have to write in Steve Jobs word. You don't have to write as I. Beneath it were the words, stay hungry, stay foolish. It was their farewell message as they signed off. Steve Jobs has also wished that for himself, and now as graduates to begin anew, Steve Jobs wishes that the same for the students: stay hungry and stay foolish. Fine. There might be other questions, also minor questions. You might go through it. I have explained to you properly, so you might get an answer for that. Thank you very much.